Alright, Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway Train Dispatchers, Operators, and Control Operators Manual. Train Dispatcher Operator Manual number 1, 2000, 42, track warranty and control instruction for train dispatchers. 42.1, issuing track warrants. Unless transmitting electronically issued, relay the track warrants directly to only employees qualified on the GCR, MWR, NWOR. When issuing the track warrants, verbally assertion who is copying the track warrant before issuing will use the term Xbox into the transmit, then each enter line that marked with an X. It require the employee copy the track warrant to repeat each enter line marked with an X. Track warrant restrictions and instruction. When a track warrant that authorizes the movement of box 2, 3, and 4 also contains restrictions included with restrictions subsequent track warrants until the train is no longer affected with the restriction. When the track warrant that does not authorize the movement contains a restriction, the restriction does not handle to be included with the track warrants issued later. When the track warrant that contains box 17 instruction is voided, reissue those instructions on a subsequent track warrants if it is desired that they remain in effect. The 423 track occupying overlapping limits with the train box 11, the ABS territory box 11 may be used for trains occupying overlapping limits with the other trains with no restriction. Non-automatic black signal territory box 11 may be used with the train occupying overlapping limits with other train with the following restriction. Train authorized by the box through the limits of the train authorized by the box 2 and 11 box 11 must receive the track warrant in the box 11 restriction only after departing the last station prior to the overlapping of the limits of the box 2. The authority must begin at the same location where the overlapping limits begin, i.e. the train previous authority must not be extended into the overlapping limits. Train authorized in box 2, which will move through the limits of the train authorized by box 4, may receive the track warrant in box 11. The restriction only after departing the last station prior to the overlapping limits. In box 2, authority must begin with the same location where the overlapping limits begin, and the train's previous authority must not exceed into the overlapping limits. Trains will be authorized in box 4 must receive the track warrant at the box 11. Restriction only after the passing last station prior to the overlapping limits of the box 4. Authority must begin with the same section when overlapping limits begin, must be included with the entire overlapping. The train previous authority must not extend into the overlapping limits. The new box 4 authority must not extend beyond the overlapping limits. 42.4. Maintenance of the way and yard line restrictions. Do not issue maintenance of the way employees track warrant authority to occupy the main track within yard limits or restricted limits. Movement of another district. Do not issue an authority that affects movement of another train district, dispatcher's district. 42.6. Protect against conflicting movements. When issuing an authority to provide protection against the conflicting movements. 42.6.1. Using box 7, 9, and 10. Use box 7 not in effect until after the arrival of blank at for opposing train movements authorized in box 2 or 3. Do not use box 7 when authorizing a train if opposing the train is authorized by box 4 working between. Box 9. Use box 9. Do not follow the limits ahead of the following movements. The box 9 must not be used when authorizing the work between to a following movement authorized in one direction without using the box 11 for the overlapping limits that also involve the train. But using box 9 and 10, the use of the box 10 will only when there is a switch at last name point that can be used to clear the main track. Do not use box 9 and 10 to provide meeting or passing points for the train authorized by box 3. Do not use box 10 on the track warranting that also uses box 4. 42.7. Left blank intentionally. 42.8. Voiding track warrant. 42.8.1. Voiding existing track warrants. When changing the limits of existing track warrant, issue the new track warrant with an Xbox and 1. Consider the box track warrants in effect until the OK time is acknowledged for the second track warrant. Make sure the new track warrant limits include the entire train of the maintenance of way equipment. 48.2. Voiding a track warrant to an operator. To avoid a track warrant copied by an operator but delivered to a train, if the track warrant includes the movement of the authority, issue the operator's second warrant addressed to a train, voiding the first track warrant. If the track warrant does not include the movement of authority, do not issue the second warrant. Instead, instruct the operator to write a void across the track warrant and file it. 48.2, 42.8.3, 42.8.4, and 42.8.5 left blank intentionally. 42.8.6 clear of the main track. The train reports clear of the main track under the circumstances normally requiring the train to report the track. Warranting clear, we want the train to remain in the clear. Avoid the train's track warrant, or have the crew report the clear of their track warrant. Promptly call the attention of your supervisor and employees who fails to report the clear on the track warrants. 42.9. Change the track warrants and general track bulletins. You may verbally change the train symbol, initial engine number, direction, and the date of the track warrant and/or general track bulletin, but that does not grant authority to box 2, 3, and 4. Before verbally granting permission to change the track of the warrant address, verify the track warrant in question with the correct track of the warrant for the train. Association that all the required track bulletin restrictions in effect with the territory you control that have been, it will be issued on to the train. Grant verbal permission without following track. With the following, grant verbal permission with the following format. Blank has the permission to change track warrant of the general track bulletin number of date and to read blank instead of blank. If the bulletins are not recurrent in the particular, do so as issued not in the general track and the track warrants electronically with all the required information. If the verbal change in the train symbol on the computer generated with the general track bulletin track warrant and to deliver the track bulletins and notify only the dispatcher within the route code of the track warrant and check the TSS listed in the train effective generated with the future bulletin issuance will be affected. 4210, track warranting other than specific instruction. Item 17, do not use the track warrant in item 17 with grant authority to issue instruction that may conflict with another rule or instruction when another item can be used. 4211, handwritten tracks. Warrants. Issuing handwritten track warrants only authorized by supervisor. In addition to use the handwritten track warrants, the grant authority will be changed again to the AGST Chief Dispatcher managing dispatching practices. 4212. See, controlling track warranting control. When using a CTWC, issuing movement of proper authority, the train working between the two locations, making an entire entry point exact location where the train will enter these limits. Automated conflict checks depend on their information. Alright, reporting the clear of the track warrant for the authorizing movement, maintenance of the way. When maintenance of the way employee with the train reports clear of the track warrant with the movement authority with the box 2, 3, and 4, when the state of the following, the track warrant's number being reported clear, name of the maintenance way of the employee of the train reporting clear of the track warrant limits were authorized, the time track warrant was reported clear. 4214. Track release time. The track release time may not be the time of the information was received when using a CTWC. An employee reports the train on the track of the equipment that has been specific with the points but authorized with the outline of the GCOR or the MWOR Rule 1430 operating with the track warrants. Enter the track release time of the system with the exact time of the train on the track. Equipment passed on the specific point. State of the track release information file is correct as follows. ID clear of the location at time is correct. Overlap circuit. The train dispatcher may instruct the train to pass an overlap sign citing when the train is not authorized to proceed and necessary to accomplish the train meets and when unforeseen conditions arise. Before issuing the instruction, notify the engineer of the opposing train authorized to move out of the next station of your intent. Reach a clear understanding concerning the movements that will be made. 412.6. Equipment that may not shunt the tracks. The automatic block system. In the automatic block system, unless authorized to move in both directions, box 4 and the yard limits are established absolute protection against the following train with the following single unit light engines or short wheeled equipment that shunts the track. 412.7. Permission to pass or stop indicated with the automatic block signal. When training requests permission to pass or stop indicated with an automatic block signal under the JCOR Rule 912.4 automatic block system territory, do the following. Verify the train has the authority beyond the stop indication. Attempt to verify that no opposing the train has violated its authority. The train dispatcher may then give the train dispatcher permission to pass the signal with the following words. After the stop of the train at the location has the permission to pass and signal and display stop indication. 4218. Back over the movements in double track territory. Back over the movers in double track territory under the provision of the second paragraph of the GCR Rule 6.3 only when not possible to authorize to the move with the track warrant. When back over the move is being made, instruct the train crew to make all the movements at restricted speed. 4219. Protect open switch. When main track switches to the track warrant control system, may be left in the reverse position only when the condition is protected with the computerized track of the warrant system and under the following provisions. In the automatic blocking system, the track warrant box 2 and 3 authority with the trains may be issued with no restriction. The track warrant box authority with the trains must end at any open main track switch. Authority may be issued beyond the open, which switch only to the after the employee has restored the switch to normal position. Track box 2, 3, and 4 authority for the maintenance of the way employees may be issued with no restriction. Non-signatory track warrant box 2 and 3 authority for the trains must not end at any open main track. Switch of the box 2 and 3 authority may be issued beyond the open switch only after the train has departed with the previous station on the open switch. Exemption for the last station previous to open switch has no siding in the less than 7 miles from the open switch authority to be issued beyond the open switch when the train is within 7 miles of the open switch track. Warrant boxing authority for the trains must be ended at any open main track. Switch authority may be issued beyond the open switch only after the employee has restored the switch to normal position. Track warrant box 2 and 3 authority for the maintenance of the way employee may be issued with no restriction in any territory. When the crew reports that the switch has been restored in normal position as required by the last bullet of the GCR rule, the main track switches, the switch must not be considered returned to normal until the dispatcher verifies the crew member is physically at the switch. The train or the engine is occupying the switch when the control traffic warranting control before issuing the track warrant with the box 7 to the box 21 XD, we must have issue with the opposing train authority beyond the switch to the left open. Note if the proceed is not filed with the train later authorized beyond the switch to the be open left with the receive with the box 2 wanting to stop or restore the switch that has not been left in the reverse position. Alright, 4220. The CTC locations. When issuing the track warrant through the issue includes the CTC within the designated limits. Use the valid track warranting control location for the form from the two locations where the CTE is in effect where the CTC rules will govern. 4221. Specifying limits. When specifying a limit for the track warrant, use the milepost locations not shown as the station as shown in the timetable. Do not use the locations not shown as the station. 4222. Maintenance of the way contingent authorities do not issue track warning contingent upon and a condition where after arrival do not file limits ahead of issue only after the train movement authorized to box 2 and 3 the physical location where the track will be entered. If authority is issued the maintenance of way forces containing the overlapping authority of the train. The box 9 do not follow the limits of head instruction employed with the authority that is granted beyond the train movement. The following movement in the same direction. Box 7 not in effect until the after arrival to the authority authorized the movement in the opposite direction of the train. If the track warrant authority can be granted with the immediate use of the instruction employed to call back in a given time. 4222. Overlapping limits within the train. Automatic black system, non-automatic black system. Box 12 may be issued to the train occupying overlapping limits within the men of the equipment. The following restriction. Train authorized by Block 2 will move the following limits of the man equipment with the track warrant must receive the track warrant within the Box 12 restriction only after the departing last station prior to the overlapping limits with the Box 2 authority must begin at the same location where the overlapping limits begin. The train previously authority must not extend into the overlapping limits. Men and equipment must receive Box 11 with the entire and overlapping limits. Trains which will be authorized by the Box 4 will limit them to the man of the equipment authorized with the track warrant must receive the track warrant with the Box 12 restriction only after departing the last station but the prior to the overlapping limits. Box 4 authority begin at the same location where the overlapping limits begin must include the entire overlapping limits of the train. Previous authority may not extend to the overlapping limits of the new Box authority. New Box 4 authority must not extend beyond the overlapping limits. Men and equipment must not receive Box 11 entire overlapping. Men and equipment must receive the Box 11 for the entire overlapping limits. 4222.3. Maintenance of the way of equipment operated as the train. When the maintenance of the way of the equipment is operated as the train piloted by the T, Y, and E person in the bill with the supply sheet of the train with the use of the maintenance of the way as the engine of the initials is on the supply sheet. And do not issue the track of the warrant with the T, Y, and E personnel and handling the maintenance of way equipment the supply sheet bill as the foreman. Likewise, do not issue the track warrant with the maintenance of way personnel with the supply sheet with bill as the train. 4222.4. Form B's crossover. Outside the CTC interlocking limits the track bolting form of the B will contain with the crossover the main or other main track of the employee in charge of the track bolting form B will ensure the crossover the switches are aligned in normal position, spike clamped, locked in effective locking devices, and properly tagged. Prior authorization movement, one of these three crossover the employee in the charge of the track of the bulletin form, but must be notified in the intent of using the crossover arrangements made in the employee to facilitate the removal of the tags and spikes and clamps effective locking devices. 4223, pushing a train. When necessary to have the following train push that train ahead due to the stalling on the grade of the pilot failure due to the following in order stated the first train track release to the close of the rear of the train as possible. Issue the new track warrant with the following boxes. Box 1, void the previous track warrant. Box 2, issue the new limits. Box 11, specify the limits over which the push will occur. Second, issue the new number of authority to the point of the track release of the first point. First train, build a supply sheet with the second train with the work with the train over the entire subdivision. Issue boxing 411 will same limits of contained box 411 train needing the shove whatever point with the shove will occur with light engines may return to the train with air in this track warrant. No light engines return to the train. It is permissible to track release the first train and reissue the box for track 4 warrant with the box 11 restricted speed X and the second XDs for the second train in order to minimize the delay. 43. Track bulletin, track condition message instruction for the train dispatcher.